Hello YouTube, this is Daryl Dawes, your blind musician friend, and today in this video we are going to be talking about more basic concepts for sound design, and we're going to talk about F3 filters. Okay, filters. So we're going to be in voice mode. Okay. Let me mention to you first that the knobs over here on the left, the 8 knobs here, the first set will control your filters. Okay. The top set will control your filters. For instance, let's see, I'm gonna set it up here. Let me go into my sounds here and, excuse me, set my bank. Okay, here's the bank I want. All right, so now after you pick your sound, remember when you're gonna do sound design, you're gonna need to initialize a voice. So let me see what's going on here. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. Hang on. I think I confused myself. Oh, I did. Huh. Okay, here we go. So you're going to want to initialize your sound. So we're going to do that with job. Then you press enter twice. You get your piano. Press edit. Okay. And here's your, this is where you can press your elements. So your buttons that would normally be for tracks are now elements. 1 through 8. The bottom is to mute your element. Here's our piano. Muting the piano. Okay, so I press the button right underneath 1 to mute the piano, or to mute that element. All right, so before we get into this whole thing, let me show you how to turn down your sound so you can work with it easier, so it's not blasting in your ear. And this is for all of the elements. It's going to do this to all 8 elements. So when you're in the edit mode, the element mode, you have to press common. And common is the one that's the button that's between the, so you have the 8 on the top, on the right side of the keyboard, you got 8 buttons. Then you have the single button by itself, that's common. And then you have the next row of 8, the next row of 8. So the one by itself, that's common. You press that, press F2, press F1, SF1. So press F2, press SF1, go to the top left. This is where you set your volume to your sound. Okay, I want to show you that there's more to do in this area, and there's some other screens but I wanted to show you just that for today. Now, let's press 1 in those the element buttons. Press 1. Now, I'm going to pick, we already know how to get through here to get to our waves. If you've watched my other videos, you should know. Going down to waves, let's see, category. I'm always using the sawtooth. Let's use this for this video. I don't know what this is. They all the waves have their names, and there's so many I didn't bother to go through the data list to look them all up. There's just too many. So anyways, here's the sound I'm going to use, the wave. So filter. So we press F3. After pressing F3, press SF1. That's the row right under the screen. The very top row is the SF row. And below that is the regular F1 through F6. We want F3 for filter, F1 for the type. Yes, I said type. Now, let's talk about these knobs real quick, because I want to show you the difference. These knobs over here to the left, if you turn them to set your filters, you can set the frequency and perhaps a few other things, but really you can't enjoy the full effect of the filters, okay? So this is why they have this screen here. It's completely different. You have at least 4 basic filters. You have low pass, you have high pass, you have bypass, and then you have band elimination filters, okay? When you're looking at type, that's going to be the top left. There are so many types. I mean, there's 4 basic ones that I just mentioned, but the factory put some of them where they were like LPF plus HPF, bandwidth. I mean, so you just have to kind of go through them and see what you want to use for your sound design. I'll let you hear a few of them, okay? So what I'm gonna do is turn this up. Okay, we're gonna start with this is a low pass S filter. Okay, then this is a low pass 18, so it's 18 dBs, I believe. Then they have some 24s on here, and you can't really tell as I'm going through these. You can't really tell. There are some that really you can tell, like the high pass. You're gonna be able to tell.
It's 7 o'clock.
There is my clock. Oh, the famous talking clock. Same batteries for over 2 years. Can't believe it. Okay, so there's one of our high pass filters. So there's at least 9 different settings, okay? I'm gonna go back to the original. And so that's what's on the top left. Come down one and you have gain. This is where you could change the amount of the signal coming into, you could boost it, you can turn it down, you can really boost it. Below the gain is frequency. This is where you change your frequency to the filter. Okay. Okay. So those are frequencies. Below that is resonance. This is where you can change the harmonics or the way the filter is. So here's that sound. Let's turn that back a little bit. And the way you change the, so I'm using the data wheel and the, or you can use the plus and minus buttons as well. The data wheel makes it go faster because I'm holding down shift with my thumb and moving the data wheel. And it moves everything by 10. Okay, so maybe about right here. And this is something you probably want to do through earphones because it could be annoying, but for this video, I'm gonna just suck it up and do it for you guys. All right, so get in trouble for you guys. How's that? All right, so here's frequency. So now you can hear. So I just swept the filter with, but you can do that with the knob when you're playing live. But this is so you can set your actual frequency that you want to work with. So now if I go up to type, let's see what we have. If I go all the way to the left, okay, this is the first LPF, okay, low pass filter. That's the first one. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. Next. Here's the next one. Next one. So you see what I mean by filter types. Here's another one. There's another one. So they have all these different filter types that you can pick. Okay. Now, with that being said, sometimes you have more than just what's on the left here to play with. So when you pick your filter, feel free to cursor over and see if, and then make some changes and see if it affects what you already have. So here's what we have now, without any changes being made. I picked, but you know what? Let me go back to the original filter. Let's do it with the original, the one that comes in by default, and that will be this one. Okay. So now I'll go down to resonance, and I'll cursor over right, and see if I change the resonance or change this area. Okay, I don't hear anything happening. That doesn't mean it didn't do anything. So I'll go up, because that could have been the amount or something. So I'll go up, and then I'll make changes here. Ah. So you can make some changes here too. I believe, let me go back down and see what that did now that we made those. Ah. So this is like another gain, I guess. Or it has something to do with the way that, okay, so this is like a sensitivity for, velocity sensitivity for the, or like a key follow type thing. Okay, so let's see if I can get this back to normal. Close enough. So that's what's in this screen for that type of filter. Now, the last thing I want to talk about for filters, because there's other screens. There's the SF2, SF3, SF4, SF5. But I just want to work on basic sound design because you can get pretty advanced with this stuff. SF3, your FEG or filter envelope generator. This is where on the top left you have your things like hold, attack, and then you have your decay in this screen. You also have, I believe there's a release of some sort. Now, when you make changes here, you're gonna choose which direction the frequency is gonna be modified. As an example, go to the top left and then go over 1, and then let's change that, going clockwise, slowly. You see what it's doing there? If I add some more resonance, I'm gonna go back over here to SF1. Add more resonance to that. 1, 2, 3. Let's add more resonance. Okay, so that way I get. Okay, now we'll go back to SF3. So this is where you can change that. If you want it to go the other way, I believe you're going to need to. This is one of those things you got to sit here and play with it. Sound design can take a while, so be patient with your sound. As you make adjustments, I suggest save what you have. Now, if you don't remember how to save a voice, even in sound design, you do exactly the same thing you would do for setting up for your gigs. Press store, press edit to see where you're going to store at. Remember, up the top left is your user locations. To the right is your actual patch location. So pick that, press enter or press edit to hear your sound, and then press enter twice. Okay? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get out of here and come back in to my sound. Oops. Let me recall that. Okay. I messed up here. So there we go. Recall. All right. Now we were in filters. Okay. So moving from the top left to go right one, and this is where, like I said, you can change the attack or the decay. No, this is the attack. Okay, so that's the attack. Come down again. Now you're playing with decay. So you can you basically are playing with the way the filter goes through, you know, how it messes around with the frequencies. So, and you can change it to go up like that, or you can have it go the other way, and you just have to kind of play with it until you get it. I mean, what I'm doing here is I'm actually just, hang on. You have to be careful in this area. I should mention too, because they have it to where it could be a 0 on some of these filter settings. It could be a 0, but then there are some settings where you have negative this, you know, like negative 64 and plus 63, and so 0 is going to be in the middle, and that's going to be hard. You have to really use your ear when you play with the sound design. Make sure you that's why I say save your work as you go. I would store it and then come back and continue to sound design, because you're going to make some big adjustments here, and it might take a minute to even get exactly how you want it. And then after that, you know, if you make a mistake and you're gonna have a hard time. You don't want to erase, you know, exit and come back in, have to make those same adjustments again. So it's best to store your work after you make huge adjustments in this area or any area in the sound design, and come back in to the edit mode and continue. Okay, so what else do I want to cover here? So on the top left, we have the attack. It changes the way it's going to affect the filter. So every time I press the key, it kind of delayed before it let the sound come in. But if I go to the right and change that too, then it starts making sense of what's happening here. And then if you go to the right again, so there's 3 boxes here on the top, you could change there's more things to change. This is like the level, or okay. Let's bring that frequency up just a little bit more. Oops, let's go here. Let's bring the frequency up to about, let's take the resonance back up. So it's not so so it doesn't bite so much. Okay, and here we go back here to our envelope, our filter envelope. I'm gonna go down one. Okay, so that was the first top row. Then there's 3 more. We go down one. What I would do is, if you're already on the top left, don't worry about it. But if you're on the top right, like I was, come back over to the left twice. Come down one, and you'll be on your new set of 3. I mean, technically you would have been anyway, but and you can make changes here. So there's the first, the second row, the first one in the second row. Here's the second one in that second row, and there's so many settings. I'm just changing, making big, huge increases so you can hear a difference right away if there's going to be one. And sometimes there won't be, and I'll tell you why it's not doing that. The reason why is because there are so many adjustments you can make, and you still have your amplitudes and things of that nature. So if you kind of know that you want a release, because you see how our release is right now, so that let go of the key, it stops. On the left of the those 8 knobs, or those 2 function buttons for the knobs, press the top one twice, and that should give you your envelopes. And it'll be knob 4 on the top row that will change your release. But keep in mind that this release is going to do that to all 8 elements. So if you're not wanting that release on all 8 elements, I wouldn't do that. But I did it for this video, okay? So there's your release. So now when you let go of the key, you can hear what happens, right? So that's basically what you have in filters. I mean, I wanted to show you that. I mean, and it changes, the sound changes as you go through other waves. I'll give you an example. So there's so many possibilities. You just have to pick the wave that you want. And then remember, you can always go to your filter types and change those over. After you've made your adjustments, you can try out different filters and see what they do. Ooh, that one was long for some reason. It's still going. Let me change my release. Okay, so I had to turn the keyboard down a little bit too. That one's pretty powerful. Okay, so yeah, so these are things you can do for sound design, basic sound design. Another thing I want to mention too, though, is you can always take a sound that the factory created and just come in here and tweak that and then store it. Okay. You know, let's say like steel drums. Let me see how many elements does that have. That one has 3 elements. Okay. So maybe not that one. We want something simple. But what I'm saying is basically you can go into edit mode, change the wave for the element, and then store it like it's a new sound. Okay. So where were we? Well, so you have your filter generator, your filter envelope generator, and I lost my sound. Hang on, I'm gonna do a recall. Recall usually works. How do I do a recall? I press job, I press F2, I press enter twice. That's not the sound I had, but it doesn't matter. It's really that was really basic for me, so I could really just set it up again. No problem. Let's just do that. Oops, that's right. I'm trying to initialize it, and I need to press F1 and then F1 and then enter. Okay, common. Set my volume again. Set my volume. Oh, I don't know why. Okay, volume. Okay, my volume's set. Pick my wave. We were here at this first one, and I'll set my frequency. That's about where we were. Resonance. Okay, and we had a different filter type, but let me get the basic part that we had back first. Okay, that was too much on that one. I turned it too far. I turned that too far. Okay. Yeah, it really takes some concentration with these with sound design. I'm playing the same chord over and over again, because that's the only way you're going to know when you've made a change. Okay, so these are and I'm using the shift to adjust, shift and the data wheel to adjust how my filter is played, and that'll work. And then we had the release over here, right? So we gotta press that button twice, and then okay, and I'm gonna make one more change over here. So I'm just playing with the filters, just like you might, just like you'll be doing when you do this. And then, like I told you, you could change the wave. You don't have to be stuck with that wave. You can change it to whatever sound you want, whatever wave you want. Okay, see, so there you go. You got a new sound already like that. And just store it like you would any other voice. There are other screens, like I said. There's other screens to adjust the filter even further, like for instance F4, SF4. So you press F3 for filter, SF4, and the first thing on the left, when you change this area, this is one of those areas where I was telling you, you have to be careful because some of these settings have the 0 in the middle instead of at the far left of the clock. Of the dot, you know, when you turn the data wheel. But the far left, top left, has a spot where you can put, this is a spot where you can change how the filter responds when you go up the keys. Okay, so that's what that does. So I hope I gave you enough to play with, and feel free to experiment on your own in this area. This is a big area, There's a lot that you can do. And remember, you have 8 elements. So you can switch to another element. And here's this cool thing that I need to tell you guys. I'm glad I didn't end this video yet. here's a cool thing. If you pick another element, your filter sound is not going to stay there. So you could choose different filter settings for each element. Here's my here's our filtered sound, right? I'm gonna mute that and I'm gonna turn on element 2. And here's our piano again. Okay. Now remember I said that these knobs control all 8 elements. Well, here you go. See, now the piano has a release on it. Okay. So I'm gonna pull this out just a little bit because I think I'm making it bump the camera. So now you can change the filter here and have a whole new set of filters. And then you just you unmute the other element and you have them together. Right? Okay, and so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all I have for you on this. Enjoy creating sounds. And the reason why you want to create sounds, guys, is because you're going to be in the middle of recording a song and go, man, I want this sound. I want this. I need this sound. I don't have it. I can't find it on the keyboard in the factory's choices. So you have to create it yourself. And after creating that sound, you come back and you can record with that new sound you created. Okay? So remember to store your stuff and come back to it later to complete your sound design. And I will get into other things. Our next video will probably be amplitude. We'll talk about setting envelopes, you know, setting your attacks, your decays. Maybe we'll make a bell. I don't know. We'll do something. But if you like these videos, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And also make sure to change that setting that says personalized. Change it to all. That's the only way. That's not just for me, but for anybody that you subscribe to. Make sure you change it to all. That way you get mail in your inbox. Okay? So, with that being said, God bless. And we'll see you in the next video. Yes, indeed.